why you will always need GPS. What'd you end up with?
To that one I had about 60 from there.
And 600 meters by 60 paces as an example, that's 10 times you're gonna move your pace count, right? About 65 on the other ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So what'd you end up with?
62, 72.
So we're out here doing a land navigation course right now. I got dudes doing their pace count right now. This is a different pace count than most people have ever done before, because instead of just a down and back, they're working down 100 meters, executing basically a right face, 100 meters going downhill, and then they're working back south 100 meters, then coming back to me 100 meters. So they're doing a whole box method, and that's going to give them some, basically, you know, some ups and downs, some vegetation that they're going to have to work through, and they're going to have a better working average of what their pace count is. So what's the problem? Why are you always going to need a freaking GPS? Well, it's because your pace count isn't right. So you may be thinking that the reason people's pace counts is wrong is because they are moving on flat ground, right? Or because they are moving without a pack or without any of their gear, and that's what's throwing your pace count off and making it whack, and why you can't trust it or whatever the case is. But the truth of the matter is that that's not what it is. There is something more important that is throwing your pace count off. And as we continue to move through the woods here and chit chat, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments down below about your pace count, about your experience doing land navigation, and maybe some lessons learned. That way we can all continue to master our craft and develop our tactical virtue. Maybe you think it's because it's got to be the vegetation, right? You having to bob and weave under and over and around trees and shrubbery and whatnot. That's not it. Maybe you think it's the elevation that you're moving up or moving down. That's not it either. So many variables that are out there. What could be the one thing that's hindering our ability to learn how to move in the wilderness effectively? Like, it's one thing to go hiking, to go backpacking, to explore, but it's another to put all of our skills to the test in a way that has operational meaning, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I was thinking maybe I seen you, so I was like, well, maybe we're right here somewhere.
This is on the other side of the road.
Okay. Oh yeah, the road right there. Okay.
Yeah, a couple 100 meters away from the creek, so we can work our way up to the patrol base.
Yeah.
And get you going from there.
Okay.
Look at what you're doing to me, dog. So it's patrol base now. Hot. Distance or direction from here to
Like
that
we did
point.
at the beginning.
Yep. It's awesome.
sure it lines up. 4 degrees. I
Yeah,
guess?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was you got 150 meters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be, you're using 70 as your pace counter, is that right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be 70 and then 35.
The road will be our, what's that called, a backstop?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't really quite tell on this.
Well,
though.
you're crossing contour lines to get there,
Okay,
right?
so
So
that-
you know that you're
you
gonna be
gotta
moving up.
You got to be. You'd have to be going up or down to cross it. Yeah.
Right. You may have found that as you're moving out doing land navigation skills on your own, that you've been able to trust it. You're like Stoker. Man, my pace count is right. It's 60, 65, 70, whatever it is. Leave a comment down below if you know what your pace count is. So how do you have the nerve or the audacity to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing? So here's where it is. The reason and the purpose for doing land navigation in the first place. This is where everybody gets stuck, right? We go out and we move from A to B in a controlled environment. We never think about route planning. We never think about the purpose of why we're doing land navigation in the first place, which is a building block for patrolling, right? It's a fundamental task. It's a skill level 10 task. It's an individual task for conducting a dismounted patrol, right? Patrolling through the woods. Roger, be advised, made it to checkpoint Charlie. Thinking about security, thinking about linking up, thinking about setting up caches, whatever the case is. And that's why we do land nav. So what's the difference? The difference is when you're patrolling, you're moving in at least a somewhat contested environment. You're not going to be out meandering through, cupcaking and lollipopping, walking at your normal gait like you do when you're out there doing land navigation. You're going to be moving much more intentional, a little bit slower, and have much more awareness of your surroundings, right? Keeping your head on a swivel. You're looking, you're listening, you're smelling as you're moving. And because you're doing all of these things and you have this awareness that there may be a threat out there that's looming, you're not going to be trudging through the hills, the valleys, the swamps, the deserts, whatever environment that you find yourself in. Which means ultimately that your pace count, instead of maybe the 60 or the 70 that you thought that it was, is actually going to be probably closer to 80, 90, or 100 during the day, right? And at night, it may be 120, 130. So what can you do to figure out what your pace count should be? Yes, you need to come out into a sterile environment. You need to do some land nav in your area and get to know your pace count, just walking out through the woods with your family, your friends, whatever. But then you need to take it and go one step further. Yes, you need to put your gear on. But now you need to move as you would if you're conducting a patrol from A to B. Walk at that gate and figure out what your pace count is. Do the same thing at night and figure out what your pace count is. Do all of the testing that you can now when the environment is actually not contested, as opposed to then when it is, regardless of what made it contested. Does that make sense, team? I hope that it does. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments down below as we all continue to master our craft and develop our tactical virtue. On that note, I do have something else for you. When it comes to teams, like, would you rather have 4 quarters or 100 pennies? Would you rather have 4 quarters or 100 pennies? Think about it for a second. Yes, I know, it's all 100, right? But it's different. You have 4 individual items that are worth more, or you can have 100 items that are individually worth less. Think about it. Let me know down in the comments which one you would have. I appreciate you guys, team. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!
Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.